As we roll along the streets of Salem, New Jersey, I'll point out some interesting features of this historical town. When you hear Salem, you may think of Salem, Massachusetts, infamous for its ghoulish witch trials, or even Salem, Oregon. But Salem, New Jersey is also a fascinating place, filled with history and visually interesting decayed old structures. You can see that some of the blocks are blighted with burned out and abandoned structures, while others look quite nice and well kept. You'll note that some of these homes need quite a lot of work to make them suitable for occupancy, but for someone who's handy, it could be a good bargain. Homes like these are usually advertised as, quote, need tender loving care, or, quote, bring your inspiration. The city is home to about 5,300 residents and has an attractive historic district, at least two antique stores, a retro 50s style diner, and access to a variety of nature areas. However, Salem's potential appeal to newcomers might be hobbled by crime rates that are significantly higher than both state and national averages. Salem's overall crime rate stands at 31.93 per 1,000 residents, meaning residents have a 1 in 31 chance of becoming a victim of either violent or property crime. Now let's unpack specifically what is going on with Salem's homicide rate. In a recent year, Salem recorded 3 murders, giving it a homicide rate of 0.56 per 1,000 residents, similar to that of Baltimore. Salem reports a handful of killings each year, with a record-breaking 10 homicides in 2023. These numbers are small, but because Salem is a community of only 5,300 residents, just a few murders per year can give the city a staggeringly high per capita homicide rate. In fact, on a per person basis, Salem is statistically deadlier than such violent hotspots as Chicago and Philadelphia. Salem's murder rate is roughly 3 times higher than Philadelphia's and more than 10 times higher than New York City's. To make a starker comparison, if New York City had the same murder rate as Salem, it would rack up around 4,500 homicides per year. But on the flip side, Salem's small population means that only 1 or 2 fewer murders per year would dramatically lower its per capita homicide rate. Salem's overall violent crime rate is 14.84 incidents per 1,000 residents. This is nearly 4 times that of the national median of 4 per 1,000. Broken down by crime, the figures in a recent year were 63 assaults, or 11.83 per 1,000 residents, 8 robberies, or 1.50 per 1,000 residents. In the area of property crime, there were 17.09 incidents per 1,000 residents, just below the national average. Broken down, the figures in a recent year were 55 thefts, or 10.33 per 1,000 residents, 18 burglaries, 3.38 per 1,000 residents, and 18 motor vehicle thefts, or 3.38 per 1,000 residents, with residents facing a 1 in 296 chance of having their vehicle stolen. Salem's overall crime rate is one of the highest in New Jersey, above that of 93% of the state's other communities. When compared to cities of similar population sizes across the U.S., Salem's crime rate per 1,000 residents is notably higher than average. But there is one positive development. Recently, the Salem Reporter newspaper revealed that property crimes have been trending downward over the years. So the key takeaway for crime in Salem is that the city's murder and violent crime rates are alarmingly high, but they can be brought down substantially with even small reductions in the number of incidents. Here we'd like to mention that we like Salem. It's an interesting city with a mix of historical architecture and just a slightly gothic vibe to it. But Salem is off the beaten path for a lot of reasons. One may be New Jersey itself. When you hear New Jersey, you might think Bruce Springsteen, Frank Sinatra, The Sopranos, Jersey Shore, and maybe even the Turnpike. Salem is not in a quote famous part of New Jersey, but it is well worth visiting. One thing you see in Salem, you see a lot of contractors' vehicles and workers, so that's a good sign that there's rehab and renovation work going on in the community. Salem is a city with a rich history and a diverse population. Here's a look at its current demographics. As of the 2020 census, Salem's population stands at 5,296 residents. Their median age is approximately 37.6 years. 56% of the residents are female. Black or African American, non Hispanic, about 59%. White, about 29%. Hispanic, 6.3%. According to census data, the median household income in Salem, New Jersey is about $25,700. This is significantly lower than both the New Jersey state average and the U.S. national average. About 28.4% of the population lives below the poverty line. Among individuals 25 and older, about 80% hold a high school diploma or higher degree, and about 8% of residents 25 and up hold a bachelor's degree or higher. Salem has a long history and a mature, diversified economy. About 1,830 individuals are employed in Salem. Its major industries include healthcare and social assistance, which employ around 462 people, making this the largest employment sector, along with manufacturing. Salem's economy faces some challenges. In 2014, a massive 150-year-old glass factory on the city's north side closed down and suddenly put 300 people out of work. The downsizing of DuPont manufacturing operations in the Salem County area, carried out around 2017, meant more economic bad news for the region. However, the city of Salem is actively pursuing various development projects to stimulate economic growth. These initiatives include attracting new businesses and upgrading existing infrastructure. Salem is one of the oldest cities in New Jersey. It was founded in 1675 by the noted Quaker John Fenwick, and it played a significant role during the colonial era, serving as a center for agriculture and trade. Later, it became known for its glass-making industry. Today, Salem is focused on revitalization while preserving its rich history, including historic sites like the old Salem Courthouse. Housing in Salem is quite affordable by U.S. standards. You'll see in a lot of these areas there are some row homes. Row housing is an iconic part of Baltimore's visual landscape, as well as Philadelphia's. You've probably noted that you see a lot of mature foliage and trees in Salem. Salem is one of America's oldest cities. It is, I believe, even a few years older than Philadelphia, which was one of America's original capital cities. Some people have suggested that Salem's appeal is limited because of its proximity to so much heavy industry. Currently, there is one superfund site in the vicinity of Salem County. A superfund site is simply a toxic waste dump that has been earmarked for cleanup. However, this compares favorably with Newcastle County in northern Delaware across the Delaware Bay from Salem. Newcastle County has 8 superfund sites, and it also has higher real estate values than Salem. So in the case of northern Delaware, the presence of these sites, dumps that is, has not affected the value of real estate. Going back in time now, Salem was founded more than 350 years ago as a Quaker settlement. The Quakers got their name from the way they shake or quake due to religious fervor. Another is that the Quakers practiced silent prayer. During a Quaker church service called a meeting, there is no choir singing and there are no sermons. Instead, people sit silently and contemplate things. Understandably, the Quakers are often confused with the Amish, who are a completely different group. The Amish completely avoid modern technology, including electricity. You can see the Amish in their horse and carriages in the Lancaster County region of Pennsylvania. Salem is an off-the-beaten-path destination and would be well worth including in your travels. Places close to Salem include Atlantic City, known for its casinos and its vibrant food scene, and Cape May, a quaint historic town on the southern tip of New Jersey. Another aspect of Salem is that it is in a heavily industrialized region. The Salem nuclear power plant is still operational. To the west of Salem is the heavy industry, and to its east is the agricultural farmland. Salem is divided into an east and west side by Broadway Street. I think actually it's just called Broadway, not Broadway Street, but if you follow US 49 all the way south, you'll end up close to the New Jersey shore communities. If you follow it north, you'll end up at the famous New Jersey Turnpike, which takes you into New York City. Following it north and then going to the left, you'll be on the Delaware Memorial Bridge, which takes you to Newcastle, Delaware. Interestingly enough, Newcastle is also a historic city that has some issues with crime and poverty. If you've lived in Salem or visited Salem, please share your thoughts in the comments section of the video. We have a lot more videos on the way with all kinds of interesting, offbeat, and downright weird destinations. In our upcoming videos, we'll be looking at cities such as Philadelphia, Cleveland, Detroit, and other major U.S. metro areas. If you've enjoyed this video, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next trip.